This is the move that a lot of Ravens fans have been waiting on for a very, very long time. Well, it seems like it was a long time this offseason, because with Brandon Stephens, there was so much unknown on what was going to happen with him. Were the Baltimore Ravens going to actually let him go? A lot of Ravens fans anticipated that, but at the same time, there was still that thinking like, Ravens I could actually see the Baltimore Ravens retaining Brandon Stephens. And then John Harbaugh's comments from about a week and a half ago, they certainly didn't help a lot of people with their thoughts, because John Harbaugh, he talked about, well, hey, maybe we might keep Brandon Stephens. Maybe we might get him back because he can play over here, he can play over there, he can play this position, that position, he can do so many things. He's very versatile, which he is. So that made a lot of Ravens fans think, is John Harbaugh going to make the decision in EDC? Will they keep Brandon Stephens even after he struggled a lot this year? Well, we finally got the answer to our question. Team, keep it clean. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you can stay up to date with everything going down with our Baltimore Ravens and how we dibble and dabble in a lot of other stuff going on with the NFL as well. I appreciate y'all. I know it's been an influx of videos. You're not used to this, but I appreciate you. Make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing. Brandon Stephens, he is signing a 3-year, $36 million contract with the New York Ravens. With the Baltimore Jets. With the New York Jets. It says the deal contains $23 million fully guaranteed. And he said the deal was negotiated by David Mulligetta of Athletes First. I didn't know Brandon Stephens was under David Mulligetta. That boy be making some deals, but shout out to him. Shout out to David Mulligetta. Shout out to Brandon Stephens. Congrats to Brandon Stephens. You know, when we talked about the type of deal that Brandon Stephens could possibly get, I was thinking, all right, maybe a 2-year, $20 million deal. But I was like, but wait a minute. $10 million a year, that sounds kind of disrespectful. Especially with the salary cap going up, especially with it rising, especially with just what the market is nowadays too. And obviously it would depend on how teams looked at Brandon Stephens as a player. If they looked at him as a corner, if they looked at him as a safety, if they looked at him as just a straight up weapon, somebody who could play different positions and whatnot. And they may do that, but I would expect him to just be a primary corner. The Jets, they just lost DJ Reed. They got Sauce going on the other side. So Brandon Stephens, they're going to be going at him a lot. They're going to still go at Sauce Gardner too, but they're going to be going at Brandon Stephens a lot. Now, for any Jets fans that are watching this, any Ravens fans, y'all already know what time it is. But with Brandon Stephens, is he a physical corner? Oh, yeah. Brandon Stephens, whether it's against a tight end, running back, wide receiver, don't matter. He ain't afraid to go head up with nobody. He ain't afraid to tackle nobody. Very, very physical cornerback. He's a good tackler, and he ain't scared. So that is some A+++ about Brandon Stephens. We always love that about Brandon Stephens' game. Another plus about his game, he is versatile. He came into the league. He used to be a running back in college, but then the Ravens changed him to a safety. Then after a little bit, they changed him to a cornerback. Then they tried to put him at safety again, and they put him back at cornerback. Then at cornerback, that's where he's played the most. And 2 seasons ago, that boy was a stud. That boy was amazing. He was a monster. He was a baller at cornerback 2 years ago. That man was just killing it. So shout out to Beast Steve. Last year, I'm not sure what changed to where he seemed to struggle a lot last year. Tackling, not an issue. Physicality, never a problem. But Brandon Stephens' biggest issue last year, in my opinion, it was making a play on the ball. Will Brandon Stephens ever get burnt? Sometimes, but every cornerback gets burnt every once in a while. Will Brandon Stephens get burnt a lot? Nope, not at all. Will Brandon Stephens blow some coverages? That happens to everybody, so I ain't really tripping off of that too much. But with Brandon Stephens, his biggest issue, in my opinion, again, just making a play on the ball. Sticky in coverage. Very, very sticky in coverage. Right there with the wide receiver, running stride for stride. The receiver make a break. Brandon Stephens make a break. Receiver make a cut. Brandon Stephens doing the same thing. Brandon Stephens is not going to be out of position very often, if at all. But the one thing about Brandon Stephens, when that ball is up in the air, He just struggles to get his head turned around and make a play on it. Only issue with Brandon, and now that is a big issue with Brandon Stevens, but that is the only issue with Brandon. Everything else he does a great job of, but that is just that. It's that. Hopefully, with him with the New York Jets, hopefully with him getting paid this bread too, so shout out to him again. But hopefully this can be where Brandon Stevens, he gets things turned around literally and consistently too. I'm really hoping the best for him. I really am, seriously, because I would love to see him flourish over there. I would love to see Brandon Stevens be like, look, hey, see, I got it now. Because, again, 2 years ago, we saw him have 2023. He had it. He had it big time. And it was like, oh, yeah, Brandon, there you go, Beastie. Let's go, baby. But last year, I'm just really, really not sure exactly what happened. I just, maybe it was the coaching change, possibly, because the Ravens did lose their defensive backs coach. So maybe that was it. Maybe it was Mike McDonald, them losing their defensive coordinator and changing everything to Zach. Or I can't call it. I really can't call it to where Brandon Stevens just had, it just seemed like he regressed. And again, like I said, he struggled. But hopefully he can get, sometimes what we need is a fresh start. Sometimes we just need a fresh start. Sometimes we just need a new scenario. Sometimes we just need just to be in a new environment, in a new situation. So that's what I'm hoping ends up happening for Brandon Stevens. He does join a long list of former Baltimore Ravens that head over to the Jets. It's just something about this going from the Ravens to the Jets. It happens every single year. Now, shout out to Brandon Stevens again too, because he got signed in the first wave of free agency. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought Brandon Stevens maybe like in a second or third wave. Because what I envisioned, I thought after this season, well, actually during this season, I thought that there was no chance that the Baltimore Ravens would bring back Brandon Stevens. After the season he had, because they tried. They really tried. They really put a lot of trust in him too, because he started off the season shaky. There was a lot of penalties. There was a lot of, again, giving up plays. Again, he not getting burnt. I think that was the most frustrating part about it. We felt frustrated, and we know he felt frustrated too, because he's not getting burnt. He's not getting beat deep. He ain't leaving guys wide open. It's just making the play on the ball. But anyway, there was all of that going on early on in the season, and then it continued early on in the season. Then we got to the middle of the season, and it still continued. And then the Ravens' defense, their defense got turned around after week 10. And their defense started being like, not lockdown, but they were great. They were like really, really good. And so then, but the struggles with Brandon Stevens individually, they still continued. Ravens did not bench him. They had options where they could have benched him. They had some guys that they could have brought in to replace him. But they didn't. They didn't go that route. They stuck with him being out there. And I think the Ravens were like, you know what? We know this guy got it. We know it's there. He got to make the play on it. But it just never ended up happening this year. For whatever reason. Again, I'm not sure what it was. So, again, hopefully over there in New York, he can make it happen. And he can earn every single incentive that he got on his contract. He can earn every single penny. He can earn the max on this contract, because I would really, really love to see that for Brandon Stevens. So now it's official, though. It's official that the Ravens are moving on. Brandon Stevens is moving on. He's going in another direction, and it will not be in Baltimore. Now they do have some options to replace him. In-house and, of course, out-house. I know there's a name that's been floating around. A lot of Ravens fans are just waiting on it to happen. Will it happen? Hey, we're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to wait it out. But until then, we will be patient. Why is Mando the MVP? Not that you smell anything. But Mando's probably way better than whatever it is that you're using. And let me tell you why. It's clinically proven 72-hour odor control. That's a long time. It's safe for your whole body. Pits, your package, your feet, and everywhere in between. And it puts a stop to odor before it even starts. You can choose from 3 different formats. There's a spray with the super easy application. There's a stick that's a familiar favorite. Then there's the cream that rubs in like lotion for those hard to reach areas. Now I'm normally a stick guy, but why not use all 3 to be extra protected? Now Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers, or if you want to get a last minute surprise for somebody, because it comes with the solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and it comes with 2 free products of your choice like the Mando deodorant wipes or the mini body wash. And it's free shipping, so you can't beat that. Now luckily I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off the starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack by using code Ingraven at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Please support the show and tell them that we sent you. Don't let the meat sweats get you this season. Your family and friends will thank you. You know what? While we're here, we might as well do some questions from y'all. I know it's been a minute, man. We've been crazy busy, but we back now. So let's get into it. First question came from my guy, Brian, who is a Team Keep It Clean patron. He said, what's up, Ing? What's up, Brian? He said, hope you and yours are doing well. I just came out of my annual Ravens choked again hibernation and wanted to give my opinion on the available free agent situation. Now, with some of these questions, hey, they're subject to change depending on what goes down and what doesn't over the next couple of days, couple of hours, couple of minutes, actually. Anyway, he said, I think Trey Hendrickson is out of the window. With what Max and Myles Garrett just got paid, ain't no way Ravens would sign him. And he said Bengals will probably do like the Browns just did and pay him some massive contract. It's a possibility. He says Zadarius Smith is expected to be released. Oh yeah, he got released shortly after you sent this. He said, so there's that. See, I like how you put that. He said, so there's that. So Zadarius Smith back to the Ravens. It wouldn't be a needle mover for me, honestly. I don't think it would be. Zadarius, but anyway, he said, and then I told you, hey, look, stuff be happening like that. He said, hopefully we get a guard and someone to replace Brandon Stevens, 21. Boom, there you go. He obviously sent this yesterday. He said, I wouldn't be mad at trading out of the first round entirely if the best available is a current must-have. Anyway, have a great one, buddy. And go Birds. Next one came from my guy Isaac, who's also a patron. He said, I know this might not make the video typing this late, but I'm out here in Cali. But to get to the point, I'm very excited Ronnie Stanley is staying. I accepted the fact that he wasn't going to stay literally 10 seconds before I saw on Twitter that he got extended. Oh, good timing for you then. He said, I think it's a somewhat team-friendly offer because I expected the Patriots to offer him around $30 million per year. Now, we see what everybody's getting. All these offensive linemen are getting. Ronnie Stanley's a steal. He was a steal, man, straight up. Anyway, he said, I feel like we still need to re-sign at least one more player from that year, and it's Pat Ricard. It's not getting a lot of talk, but he's a big part of our run game, and I think he needs to stay. Yeah, he was definitely a huge part of Baltimore Ravens run game for sure. You're right. He said, anyway, sorry for the long message and late message, and hope all is well with you and your fam. Appreciate you, Isaac. Next question came from another Team Keep It Clean patron, my guy Sebastian. He said, I know a lot of teams are pretty upset right now with the new Ronnie situation, but it's great to know that we have our guy back. It sure is. He said, I just wanted to say, a position that we haven't talked about a whole lot in terms of positional need is LB2. Ooh, that's true. He said, so I wanted to know, do you think we try and get a guy like Jalen Walker in the draft, or do you think we stick with the guys we have? I know Trent has a lot of potential, but I don't really see him panning out with us. Honestly, right now, I don't either, simply because he got benched. And not to say that he can't come back from getting benched, but if you get benched, it's very, very hard for John Harbaugh. It's very, very hard for the Baltimore Ravens to be like, all right, no, yeah, we'll roll with you again. Because a lot of times, once you get benched, that's it. It's a wrap from there. So will the Ravens bring back Chris Board again? Will he be around? Will Trenton Simpson get another shot? I doubt it, but hey, it's one of them things you won't know till we know. Or do they have somebody else? Could they go to a rookie? I don't think they'll go to a rookie to be linebacker 2 next to Roquan Smith, though. So it would have to be, or not necessarily have to be, but the way that they do things, it would be a veteran. Who that veteran would be? Good question.